Whether your beer is in a bottle, can, or glass, kick back and relax. It's Better on Draft.
Hello and welcome to Better on Draft, episode 364. I am Rob, and I am here today with Wendy. Wendy, what are you drinking?
I am very indecisive today, so I have an Eastern Market Spring Blossom with hibiscus. It is, I don't know if you can see it because of the light. It's a cherry blonde ale because I'm very disappointed in the snow that showed up in my yard the other day.
Oh, that is
but I also got this really cool new glass.
Nice glass.
So I'm also drinking a Westmall double right now.
Nice.
Double fisting. One of them's a double.
It's been a week. What are you drinking?
Today I have In Dark Trees. It's a dark Czech style lager from Maplewood out of Normal, Illinois, which is just down the road from me a piece. This is the month of the lager over on the Tap Discord in our drinking project. And with us today we have Roman, who is Roman, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and what are you drinking?
Sure. Yeah. My name is Roman. I'm the founder of Tapster Tasting Rooms. And today I am drinking, so you can see the nice color. It's called Blue Raspberry from Evil Twin Brewing out of New York. It's a sour. It looks green, but it actually tastes kind of blue and raspberry. So, yeah.
Excellent. So where are you joining us from? You have an interesting background there.
Yeah, I figured it'd be nice to be in the cooler here in Philadelphia. So we're in the cooler of the Philadelphia Tapster. So we have about 54 taps in here with me.
That's a lot of taps. Excellent.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So tell us about Tapster. Walk us into it. What is it?
Sure. Yeah. So Tapster is a tasting room. So the basic idea is all of our taps are in front, so everybody that comes in can try things, and you pay by the ounce, and you can sample things as you go. So the 54 taps we have here, you can go up and actually try an ounce or less of each one before you pour a full pint. And so we have everything at all the locations. We have multiple things on tap. So not just beer or cider. We also have wine. We have cocktails on draft. We have kombucha. We have hard kombucha, hard seltzer, hard tea, and then like sodas, mocktails, and even a cold brew coffee too.
Interesting. Do the taps work well for all of the things, or as well for all the things? Like because some are carbonated, some aren't carbonated. So
good question. Yeah. So from the beginning, when I started this in 2017, I had to get really knowledgeable on draft systems and learning how pressure and everything works, which gases work best with which lines. So really dialing in the pressures with different things we have on tap help them pour better. So if like we have an espresso martini on tap, we could try that from a regular tap, but we have the nitro tap on that makes it pour foamy and perfect, just like a espresso martini should. And, some of our cocktails are more carbonated, some are not. So we dial in the CO2 or nitrogen dependent on that. So it's been a fun journey figuring out what pours best with what gas.
Okay. And I had some questions prepared, and one of them is, how do people pour their own beverages? Like pouring beer is kind of an art, at least a little bit.
It really is. So, I mean, obviously mistakes are made, but when you come in to Tapster, you give us a debit or credit card. We give you one of our tap cards, which is, it looks like an RFID kind of card. And then above all the taps are little readers where you tap your card and then you can try. So we have signs everywhere. That doesn't really help. Nobody reads. But we also have somebody at the taps there to help people how they pour and keeping an eye on people if they pour poorly. And what we did is early on in this process, I figured out what you just said, which is a lot of people don't know how to pour a beer. The intuitive thought is, I just want a little, so I'm just going to pull a little. And we all know that's Foam City. So what I did is I worked with Micromatic, my draft line provider, and they have something called a trigger tap, and it's basically a spring inside the faucet that if you go a certain amount, it just flips on. So even if they're going slow, after a certain amount, a very small amount, it just opens up all the way. So kind of a cheat code that we put in place for this. So it helps. But yeah, there's still mistakes, unfortunately, that are made.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I guess are all the taps then spring loaded like that or triggered like
Yeah.
that?
Every single one. Yeah. And obviously, um, stouts, porters, things like that are easy to pour. And anything that's not beer is basically really easy to pour. But lagers, IPAs, pilsners, halves, all that stuff will be tough. So we really keep an eye on people when they're there and just show them, remind them, hey, you got to pull the tap out all the way, even if you want just a little, which again, super counterintuitive if you're not a beer person.
Right.
Yeah.
I've got one more ready, and then I'll let Wendy have some shots. But
Nice.
so you say people can, you're pouring your own, so you get to choose whatever your sizes are. What do you usually see people doing? Are they going to get a bunch of tasters and then go to a full pour, or are they just jumping right in?
Yeah, I think it depends on the time of day, right? And day of the week. So I'd say for the majority of it, though, on average, it's about 4 ounces is the average pour. So people are really sampling. They're trying things. So 4 ounces is the average, but there's a lot of people doing less and more. Now on the weekend, when people are just coming in to party with their friends, then yeah, they're just kind of doing full pints and just getting back to their friends and hanging out. But oftentimes it's we have flight glasses, we have flight, little carriers. So people do a lot, and we encourage that. And that's kind of what I really want to do with this brand, which is just encourage people to sample different beers they might never try anywhere else. So we're really kind of saying that to everybody when they come in. Hey, sample things. See if you like it before you pour a full glass.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the things that I like about going to breweries is being able to kind of chat with the people that work there. What do you say to people that are like, well, I don't get to do that if I'm pouring my own beer?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I actually like that too. And so what I built in is somebody that's always at the taps to talk to you. So we say we're still a tap room, like a traditional tap room. It's just the bar is, we're all behind the bar at this one. So we have the bartender essentially next to you, talking to you, seeing what's up. So that's really a key part of the business, is having somebody there to talk to you and hang out and teach you about the beers or ask questions. So I agree with you. And that's something that's really important to me as we grow this, because I don't want it to feel stale and like a fast food place, right? I want it to be an experience where you actually can talk to somebody.
So, how many taps do you have?
This one has 54. So I have locations in Chicago, Seattle, Bellevue, which is next to Seattle, Cleveland, and Philadelphia. And then Lexington, Kentucky is going to open in a couple weeks. We're just waiting on the liquor license right now. But yeah, they average around 54. So there's 54, 57, 40. They're kind of all over the place.
Now, do you actually have 54 different beers, or is it sometimes multiple taps with the same beer?
No, never the same. My big philosophy is, except for the macros, like we have 3 taps that are just macros. So your Ultra, your Rolling Rock in this case here. But then for the rest of them, I never put on the same beer that just kicked. So I always want something new, because that's kind of the whole purpose of this place is, hey, let's go in there because they're going to put something new on. And then even during the night, I'll have people loving a beer all night, and then they come back up to the taps and it's already changed. And they're like, what just happened? So I really like keeping people on their toes and letting them try new stuff all the time. And I really do, like you can see kind of in the background, I really try to lean on more sixtels than anything, because I really want to change the kegs.
That would have led to my next question then is, do you find that it's hard sometimes to get rid of a keg? But that makes sense.
Nah, good question. Luckily, knock on wood, no. We really haven't. I'm really specific about the beer selection process, right? So I make sure that they're highly rated on all different kind of scales, whether that's Beer Advocate or Untapped. I kind of go through the whole gamut, as well as just knowing your market, know what people drink. So no, we really don't keep things on much. I'd say the thing that stays on the longest is we have Avita root beer from what is that? Louisiana.
Louisiana.
It's actually a really good wheat root beer, but yeah, that stays on the longest. The rest, they're flying through.
So your locations are very different spots. Do you find that it's the clientele is very different, that they're trying different beers?
Yeah, no, again, good question. Yeah, I'd say like, Philadelphia versus Seattle could completely different. Like just the cities themselves, the whole personality is different. And yes, the people that are coming to us. I'd say in general, we attract a certain crowd of people that are young and want to try new things and hang out with their friends and be in a communal kind of vibe. So there's a similarity there. But in terms of drinking styles, yeah, I mean, as you would guess, the West Coast, they love hot bombs still. And out here, they're definitely fruity hazies, IPAs all day long. Like that still sells crazy. And in Chicago, I'd say IPAs are still good. But as we discussed earlier, lagers and craft lagers are still like on the up and up in my mind. And I think they're really what I'm trying to advocate for when I'm out there talking to guests is being like, hey, I know you like Bud Light or you like Coors. Try this one. And I give them samples. Just see if you like it. And everybody always ends up loving the craft lager so much better. So,
every year is the year of the lager.
I know. I remember saying this in 2017. I'm like, if they could just do a craft lager, I know it would be great.
So how do you manage that tap list then?
Yeah, no, we have a very sophisticated spreadsheet, an Excel doc that we kind of manage through, as well as through Untapped. We actually do our menu boards out front through Untapped, so that helps manage it too. So we put it, we have the master sheet in Excel, and then we have the Untapped as well. So that integrates with our tech on the screens. But really, it's the Excel doc that I lean on hard, and my staff knows how important it is because it's our Bible, essentially. You have to get that right. Like, we have to know what's in there, and that helps me order or whoever's ordering really get it right. So it's all color coded from what's low, what's medium, what's full, and then a bunch of notes on what's sold great in the past, what we'd like to come, what are guests saying, like, hey, I've heard a lot of people talking about lagers or a lot of people talking about seltzers recently. Maybe you should get some more. So it's really, I like to lean on my staff to try to get a lot of ideas too. Because as much as I know, and I'm out there too talking to people, I love hearing from them because they're there all the time. So, yeah, it's fun.
Is there anything that you've had come in that you were surprised sold as well as it did?
That's a good
Not
question.
that I want to throw anybody under the bus, but sometimes you get something that you're like, oh, I didn't think that would be as popular as it was.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the ones that, like, I forget the exact brand, but we had a dill pickle sour.
Yes.
And I was, I love getting those weird beers because I want people to try stuff. But we had a dill pickle sour, and I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought maybe it was going to sit there forever, and it just flew. Because people are so intrigued. They're just like, this can't be real. Like, and then it really tastes exactly like, what you would expect. There's also a couple other that, like, in the other direction, like we put on Stella randomly and it just crushes, which I get it. Everybody knows the brand, but I'm always surprised at how fast those go.
My local bar just balanced a stout heavy menu recently with a PBR. So they put PBR and it sold out fast.
Yep. PBR. That's just how it goes.
Well, that's like a palate cleanser when you're drinking all stouts, though.
Yep.
It's very true.
And as someone who dresses as a pickle for beer festivals, I approve of getting dill pickle beers.
Do you really? Oh, yes. That's epic.
I'm just a pickle fanatic, so I try a dill pickle beer everywhere I see it. I don't know that I would want like a whole glass of it, but definitely a little taster for sure.
I'll say the glass goes well with a nice sandwich, like a roast beef sandwich or something.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there it is. There's a pickle fest in Pittsburgh where they close a whole bridge and do the whole thing.
I did not, but I know where I'm going.
Super random, but now
but that's going in my notes.
I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there.
I haven't been to Pittsburgh in a while.
Yeah, they literally close an entire bridge across the river, and everybody just, it's straight pickles.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Sounds
random.
great.
I'm working on going to the chicken festival in Kentucky still.
Oh, nice. Where's that in Kentucky?
I don't remember. I just remember
Nice.
reading
All right.
about it. And my friend is obsessed with chickens, so I'm like, we have to go to the chicken festival.
Are they
Sounds
live
about right.
chickens or is this free eating?
Well, it's a festival like a strawberry festival, so I'm sure there's live picking stuff going on, but
Yeah.
there's also a lot of chicken to eat, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you get to select
I mean,
it out of the yard and
it is in Kentucky, so
yeah.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah.
I'm
Classic.
sure Colonel Sanders makes an appearance at some point.
Yeah. Oh,
That'd be good.
yeah. Gotta be.
I
I
just
would do
think
a
any
I would do a
festival like
lager with
that
that.
is awesome.
Yeah, big time.
So what type of events do you have in your tap room?
Yeah. So we have a lot of pop-ups. So I'm big on bringing everybody in around us who has a business to try to help them because our spaces are pretty big. They're 3,000 square feet usually, so a lot of room and a lot of communal areas. So we have a lot of pop-ups. So somebody's doing vintage clothing one day. Somebody's doing their little food pop-up, pastries, tote bags. Somebody coming in kind of during the week. We always have trivia. Always have trivia at all the locations. That's always fun. And then bingo is becoming more and more popular. We'll randomly have like jazz swing dance classes in here, which is fun in the Philadelphia location. And then, for the big holidays, we have a lot. So in Chicago, we do, a Guinness. They do engraving on their glasses every year for us at the location, which is really fun. But yeah, really trying to bring other people in. So we've had yoga in the mornings at our locations before, just trying to help out other businesses to bring it together. Because really what I want to do with Tapster is when you hear there's one in your town, you can go there and try all the local breweries from that city. So it'll be like a good place to, hey, I'm going to sample a bunch. I don't want to go to all the breweries first. Let's go here, sample them, and then maybe go out and visit them. So it's really trying to tie in as much as I can to everybody around us. I never feel like somebody's competing with me. I more feel like, how can I help them and how can they help me? That's my game.
It makes sense. It's a good business model too. I truly believe that the businesses that are going to make it through all of this craziness that's going on right now are the ones that tie themselves into the community very strongly. So we've talked a lot about Tapster. What about you? How did you end up starting Tapster?
Funny, yeah. So I started my career in San Francisco in advertising. So I was in media buying and ad sales for about 13 years, and I was doing great, or what I thought was great, and running ad agencies and traveling the country doing that, and I was just never really fulfilled or happy. I'm not the guy who needs money to be happy. I need to be doing something I love. And so I took time off. So I said, okay, I need to just step back. I'd never really taken a vacation, to be honest with you. I just kind of worked my ass off. And so I put all my stuff in storage and decided I'm doing a full year off. And so from New Year's of 2014, I traveled the entire year. So I started in Cartagena, Colombia, for New Year's, and then I did all of South America and for about 3 months, and then I did all of Europe and a little of Africa for another 3.5 months, and then I drove the entire country for about 6 months, just kind of decompressing, figuring out, enjoying the world for one, and then thinking, hey, what do I want to do next? And so while I was driving around the U.S., I had a bunch of friends that I would stop at their house, we'd hang out, and they would all want to show me their cool new bar or restaurant or something. And I kept seeing activity-based bars. So, ones that have like shuffleboard, or some have bocce ball, or there's a volleyball bar in Austin.
We've got a lot of
cool
axe throwing now.
Yeah, exactly. Or miniature golf bars are really popular now. So doing that kind of stuff. And it just started getting my head like, hey, maybe we could do something like that. Maybe I could do something like that because I like doing stuff when I go out too. I don't like just sitting. So there was a bar in Chicago where I was living at the time that had taps at their tables. So there were booths, and each booth had two taps. So it was like one was Bud Light, one was like tequila. And you gave the server your credit card, and you could just pour at the table just as much as you wanted, which I thought was kind of insane, but also fun. So I was like, that's a cool model. But I always envisioned what we're doing, which is like, the whole tap wall where you can go up and try. And so I found out from that when I got back, I went to that bar and asked him, hey, like, who does this technology? Luckily, the founder was outside of Chicago. So I met with him. His name's Josh Goodman. He started Pour My Beer. And so I met with Josh. We had lunch. And I was just this guy who's been traveling around the world for a year. And he just thought I was just full of it. And he's like, well, okay, man, like, cool. You want to open a bar? Like, great. I'll see you later. But we kind of hit it off over the lunch and talked and talked. And as we got into the weeds more, he realized I'm actually serious and I'm really going to do this. And so at the end of the lunch, not only did we hit it off, but he said, you don't have a job right now. I know you've been in sales. Why don't you come and help me sell these tap systems that we're doing right now? So I actually went and worked for Pour My Beer for 2 years before even opening Tapster. Tapster was an idea, but I went and worked for them. So I was selling tap systems, working with Josh on the layout and the functionality, and then opened the first Tapster in 2017, in the beginning of 2017. So it was really just like I'm really into fate, and things fall into place when you're really following your heart and doing what you should be doing. And so meeting Josh was a huge part of my life, finding Pour My Beer, being part of it, and then really opening Tapster was a big step in my life, not only to like open a business, which I thought was crazy, but to have such amazing feedback in that first, month, couple months, year. And the cool part is within like a month, I started having people ask me if this was a franchise. They just, they'd be like, hey, is this a franchise? And I was like, no. And I was kind of insulted by it because the only franchise I know is McDonald's. I was like, dude, no, this is unique. This is mine. There's just nobody else. So, excuse me, I quickly got over that. And I took it as a compliment. Like, hey, you've got a buttoned up kind of operation, good branding, all that stuff. And so then I actually got franchisable. So I got the FDD, I got the paperwork, and just kind of sat on it. So I didn't really act on it much. But a couple years later, one of my regulars from one of the Chicago locations had moved back to Cleveland. His name's Jordan, and he saw on the website we can franchise. And so he was like, hey, man, like, I'd love to do this. And so he was my first franchisee, and he's in Lakewood, Ohio, which is right outside of Cleveland. And it was just, as much as I loved opening my own location, it was even more fulfilling to help somebody else do it and have them love it too and kind of get behind it and grow their community. And he does amazing stuff with his community. I mean, book clubs, run clubs, everything. And really is a good steward for the brand. So that's kind of a long version of it, but I really love what I'm doing. I kind of love bringing people together. I've always been kind of the friend group. I'm the person who brings everybody together and organizes the plan. So it was fitting for me to be in this role. And I really do love what I'm doing, but I also feel lucky. So.
Sorry, I got caught mid-sip there.
No, yeah, I kind of gave you a little breather there with mine too.
So what do you think is next for Tapster?
Yeah, so I've been working. So to date, it's really been the focus on kind of corporate locations, if that's what you want to call them. So non-franchise, so ones that I own or majority own. And so really shifting my focus to franchising now is really where I'm at. So the location in Lexington, Kentucky is a friend of mine actually who lived in Seattle, and I knew him there, and he moved to Lexington. And his name's Dave Sweedler, but he's a doctor. So this is a total side gig for him. And he just loved it and saw, hey, there's nobody here doing this in Lexington, which is a really fun town with great beer and bourbon too. And so that'll be next. And he's actually doing self-pour bourbon tasting too. So as you do with the beer, he's actually has 8 taps of different bourbons. You can do little tasters to see if you like it. So kind of a new direction for us that I think is cool to try different things. And then after that, I've got two different franchisees that are signed on. So one in Long Island, and then another in Denver. So those are the two really on the horizon that are happening, and I'm really excited. They're great people. Like, again, as much as I love doing this, it's so fun to meet people who are just cool people who want to do this for a great reason and get into it. And so, yeah, I'd say franchising is really my focus to help other people do this now.
I was in Lexington, I guess last September during the hurricane.
Oh, nice. Good time.
Yeah, right. I was there on a golf trip.
Even better.
That's fun.
But downtown Lexington was indeed pretty awesome. It was a good place to go if you can't go to the golf course.
No, big time. It's a lively scene, and I love that it's. I mean, you were in there in September, so I'm sure students were there, but it doesn't feel like it is a college town. But there's also just a town. So you have like at the bars, you'll be hanging out there because I've been there a bunch now. You'll be hanging out there, and there's obviously a ton of college kids, but then you see like older people, and then even older people, and everybody's just kind of cool. There's not a lot of judgment in that town, which I love.
At one of the breweries I was at, a youth soccer team came in.
Classic.
It was pretty interesting.
Start them young,
Had they
man.
won or lost?
I'm sorry?
Had they won or lost? Because that's usually different than...
The kids didn't seem to actually want to be there, so I'm guessing they lost. I did not talk to them. The parents wanted to be there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Usually it's like the pizza party after the game. But I like
it is a brewery that does make pizza. They do have a wood-fired pizza oven there. So that's what was going on.
We have a brewery in Kalamazoo that I was there to visit, and they have pinballs in the back. And they had a youth soccer team. I don't know if it was soccer or a different sport, but they came in and took over the pinballs. And the parents were like, let's go here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pinball is fun. There's definitely pinball bars popped up in every city.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just the low tech, like resurgence of low tech is fun.
Yeah, which is funny considering that the business that you're building is kind of high tech considering.
Totally. Yeah. I am literally taking a bar business, which has been around for hundreds of years, if not much longer, and kind of twisting it and making it tech forward. So yeah, it is fun. And it definitely, I thought in the beginning it would only be young people and just, hey, cool, let's just try something new. And Seattle was obviously a perfect fit because there's a lot of tech there, and I figured they'd be into it, which they are. But what I really like is like in Philly or in Chicago or any city, but Philly, because I'm here, we have two regulars who come in every Thursday, every week, right at 5, and they're probably in their 70s, and they do 4 or 5 tasters, they hang out, and obviously it's quiet, so it's better for them, but that makes me as happy as seeing the bar full of younger folks. Is just, people that get it. They're like, hey, I'm older, but like, this is easy. I can hang out. And we always have fresh popcorn, which why not? And so they get popcorn and hang out. And it's just a really cute scene that makes me happy.
I think you totally just described my dad, though he's not 70 yet, but you described everything that he would like. It's a quiet bar. He can try a bunch of different things without getting crazy, and he can have popcorn.
Nice. Yes. I like him already.
So yeah, he is my beer buddy. Actually, we started a trend where we do Oberon Day together. Cool. So Oberon Day came up on Facebook, and we had gone out for an Oberon on Oberon Day, and a memory came up from like during the pandemic where we had driven 2 bells to get Oberon. Nice. With our masks on and everything. So that was fun. I'm like, apparently this is a trend or a tradition. It's now a tradition.
I like it. Have you tried they have an orange cream soda Oberon now?
I have not tried that yet.
Yeah, we just got it somewhere here in the cooler, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of traditionalist. I like the original. I do like the Eclipse version. I think that's delicious. Yeah, I think it's a definite great alternative for the winter months.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny because so many people don't realize that Oberon is sold all over the world, really, year
Yeah.
round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can go to other places and get an Oberon in, September, October, and it's no big deal. But
Nice.
they're like, people here are like, it's not new. It isn't out
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
You
I
have to
know.
wait
It's
for the
weird.
fresh batch.
That's
Yeah.
the way it was. That's just not the way it is anymore.
But it wasn't the way it was. Not really.
Well,
Not for a
maybe
long
that's
time. That's the thing. It's just that that's the way they marketed it here because it was like the spring beer,
it was the only time it showed up down by me. Was about May and June.
right?
Yeah.
So,
I talking of like favorite beers. I'm a sucker for delirium, like always have been.
oh yeah.
Yes.
And like obviously Tremens is good, but once I tried red because I like fruity kind of fruit
Hmm.
forward drinks. Once I tried red, I was like, this is over. Like this is too good, and it's dangerous because it's 8%, and it literally tastes like juice.
Yeah.
So you're just like you don't even notice. Yeah. So delirium has got my heart.
Nocturne is my favorite of their series,
Ah,
but
nice.
yeah. Like they're doing a tap takeover near me pretty soon here.
Nice. That'll be fun.
It's a bike ride away.
Hey, I like that.
I haven't gotten out much for tap takeovers and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well,
So
it helps that it's a bike ride away.
right.
We did a tap takeover last year of Bourbon County Stout. So we had
Oh,
really cool different ones, like 3 of them, and they sat on there for longer than I would have hoped. So you would think oh my gosh, everybody you should know this and it's cool, but when you're just sampling and trying stuff and going around, it's just not the same as a bar where you're sitting down and you're like, this is what I'm going to do. So it didn't work as well as I had hoped, because I was like, dude, you guys should be fired up for this. And they sat for longer than I'd want.
Yeah.
The higher
People have-
ABVs don't work here that well. It's an interesting fact.
huh.
Yeah.
I think people have very short memories too, so they don't remember that this is like the OG,
Yeah.
But
It is.
speaking of tap takeovers, is there a tap takeover that was wildly successful that you were like, all right?
Nothing that's blown. I wish I could say yes because it's a great question, and I feel like we have tried it. If it's local specific, yes. So if we've done a Maplewood tap takeover in Chicago, crush. Hopewell, it would crush. And out here, if you do Love City or you do anything like that, they're gonna love it. So it does work when it's just hyper local, but it can't be if I'm in Chicago and we do Oberon, they're kind of or different flavors of it. They'd be like, who cares? But if you really promote that local, which is our game anyway, then it kind of goes a long way. So ciders, actually, we haven't talked about ciders, and I don't know if you guys do cider talk too, but they sell really well on the West Coast, like crazy out in Seattle. People love them. We actually added 3 more taps because they sold so well. But even here, people love down east because they're out of Boston and they have a good market penetration here. And they're just we could put any down east on here and it smashes. So we've done a down east tap takeover where they do 3 because our taps break out into 3 because there's a screen, 3 taps under. So if we did down east, crushes. Yeah, and they have cool flavors.
I just need to do a check, but have you heard of Ash and Elm? They're a cidery out of Indianapolis that I go to regularly or fairly regularly. Okay.
Nice. Yeah. Good guys or girls or people?
Yeah. Well, I don't know them so well, but it's a great crew. They have good food and they have delicious cider.
Nice. I like it. Yeah, so we don't really do food, to get on that too. So what I decided early was I'm not a food person. I don't know how to run a kitchen. And it's kind of a dark well that I don't want to get into because it's a lot of labor. It's a lot of, you can do a lot of waste there. So what I do is we do fresh popcorn and some snacks. But I find a restaurant right nearby or a bar that's, next to us or 2 doors down we put their QR codes on our tables, and people order directly to their kitchen, and then they walk it into our spot. And it's worked out amazing. And people often don't know that it's not from us because it gets there so fast. And then what's cool is I'm also helping the revenue of that place right near us. So they get increased revenue. I don't take any cut, which people have argued with me, like, dude, you should take something. Like, you're doing that. But in my mind, they're helping us keep people in the seats, and they're getting worked on like Uber Eats fares and all that. They really get worked. So I just don't even care. I'm like, dude, I'm helping you. You're providing food, and people love it. So it's been a good model so far. So I'm going to do that nationally, is just partner with somebody nearby, have them bring the food in. And so then hopefully if we get big enough, people will want us near them because we'll be able to help their bottom line.
If they're close enough, then they can send people waitlisted to get tables and things over to your place while they wait.
Exactly. Nice and easy.
Nice.
Now, is it because of the licensing that you have that it's easier for you to be able to partner with groups like that and bring in, like, are people allowed to bring in outside food that's not from those restaurants?
Yeah, good. Another good question. Yeah, people can bring in whatever they want. So we technically, like in some cities, we have a tavern license, which means no food, and or a nightclub license. Sometimes we have to get, because then it's no food. But in other cities, you can't get those. You have to have food. So then we kind of do a pseudo kitchen where we have, almost like the Starbucks convection oven, where we can make pretzels, we can make mini pizzas, we could do a full menu. But we still always encourage people to bring in their own food, just because I want them to be trying, supporting everybody around there. And a lot of people really enjoy it. They're like, cool, I can bring in whatever I want. Like, this is ideal, and try whatever I want here. So yeah, I encourage it.
Kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Does that mean, at least in Philly, does that mean that people can bring in their pets?
Yeah, so people do bring in their dogs. Like, that's a big deal. And all the locations, because there's no food, we always welcome dogs in. So people love it. And I'm sure everybody knows, dogs are a huge part of everybody's life these days. So being open to that is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay, I would like to get I'd like to get a bit more into the technology of things here. Sure. Well, actually, to throw back to we had a couple of shows where Ken did "Am I the Asshole?" and there were a couple of them that came up about tipping. So I would just like to know, how does tipping work there?
Yeah. So this is a great question. This comes up a lot. So we never force people to tip. That's not my style or anything I want to be a part of. Like, you don't have to. But if you've been in the service industry, you understand the staff is working their ass off behind the scenes to make everything happen. Also, I'm a big proponent of, yes, you are pouring your own drink, but people are there talking to you the whole time. They're cleaning your table. They're grabbing glasses. If you want water, they're grabbing that, or they're making little snacks for you too. So I do hope, and it's turned out, that they do tip well at these locations because they see everybody working and being part of the experience. But that's also an important part of why they have to be part of the experience, because that directly affects tips. But of course, every so often you have somebody come to the front of the checkout and they're like, why am I doing this? Like, why would I tip you? And so, the standard line is, you don't have to. Like, we're not forcing you to, but, we have a staff that's working hard, that's making things happen. And so we actually, knock on wood, we have a great tip, average across the country. I think people get it.
Another financial question. The prices per ounce vary, and people have been drinking. So how can people tell how much their bill is going right now?
Yes, totally. I'll get to that. I just forgot something on the tip before I forget.
Okay.
We have tip box. We have express checkout as well. So there's always 3 boxes near the exit, and they're just different tip amounts. So 15, 20, 25 or variation thereof. So then when you leave, you have your tap card, and we already have your credit card on file, you can just drop the card in a tip box and leave. So you can either come in and check out with us and either tip some or none. But if you want to do express checkout, you just have these tip amounts and you're like, boop, and then leave, and then we check you out ourselves. So like when it's a crazy busy night, it's a super nice function when people are like, hey, I don't want to deal with it. I got to get out of here. They just drop it and it's easy. So it's a really fun function that a lot of young people, and actually any age, really enjoy. Because even me, when I'm done with my food and I'm ready to leave, it's like I'm waiting, and I'm so impatient, which is probably why I opened this business.
Seems like a model other places could adopt. Something like it. Oh, did we lose Roman? He's frozen. Is it me? Because Wendy, or are you muted?
No, I'm muted.
Okay, all right, good.
I was worried it was me. I got this new computer. I'm like, I'm not really sure how it works.
Yeah.
We'll get it back.
It's like magnets. He'll come back. Yeah, exactly.
Seems fun.
So,
I like all the stuff he's saying. I haven't been to a Tapster location, but I am headed to a couple of those different places here, hopefully shortly. So I might check it out. I will definitely check it out.
Yeah, yep, I haven't been to one. He's gone now. He'll be back. I went to a place like it, and I think it was Raleigh. I'm pretty sure it was Raleigh. But it felt this seems nicer. It felt clinical, almost like it was a wall with taps, and there weren't many people there to help or anything like that. So it felt kind of clinical. But it was fun pouring my own.
We have a couple here. Easter Market Brewing has opened a couple of different of the self-pour tap rooms, and I just went the other day to the new Elephant and Company, which is in the old Founders spot in Detroit, and I definitely liked the format. There were people there that could help us. There were people there talking to you. There were people there clearing your tables, getting rid of all the glasses and stuff like that. So I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the fact that I could try things that I probably wouldn't have gotten a chance to try unless I got a flight at one of the other breweries. So I haven't been to one, though, that is not just a specific brewery.
Yeah.
So I think it would be interesting to try a bunch of different things. The thing that I worry about is like, even when I go to like World of Beer and places like that now, I've tried so many beers at this point that it's sometimes hard to find new beers even at places with that many taps.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then there's the whole, do you want to read 54 beers and look them up to see if you've had them before?
Right.
Yeah. So I realized they weren't all beers, but
yeah. So funny story, when I was in Cozumel, I always let my friend just pick the beers that are local for me to try. And he gave me a beer. He's like, I think you'll like this one. And I'm drinking it. And I go to check it in on Untapped, and I had it once there before in 2016.
I think
at
Roman
the same
back.
Location. I think he's coming.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah,
we
now
got
you're
you.
Mr. Roman.
I'm really sorry about that.
No,
I think
that's right.
Some Wi-Fi issues here happened, so
things happen.
But we're back.
The cooler.
Yeah, exactly. The cooler's too much to handle.
Yeah, it's oh shoot, I've totally lost it. It's the electromagnetic radiation shielding of the metal walls.
So I think you were here to talk about the tech stuff.
Oh yeah, right.
You were asking about like overconsumption or how much they're spending too.
Yeah,
so
the spending part.
Yeah, on the screen when you tap the card, you can actually see exactly how much you've spent. So when you tap it, it shows you your total amount on the right, and then after you're done that pour, it actually shows you how much you spent on that exact pour too. So
okay,
super easy. Yeah,
that's.
I like to be transparent.
We were talking while you were missing, and the one of the places that I'd went, it didn't have any like displays or anything. It just had labels above the taps. This was forever and ever ago, and I think it was in Raleigh. But yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, no, you can do the technology allows you to, you can kind of option, you can say, I'll let people see the dollar amount, or they don't have to see it. And I just feel
okay.
like if I were in your spot, I wouldn't want to deal with somebody not showing me that. So I put it up there. We show them everything. And then in terms of over serving, we each card stops everybody after 2 servings of a drink, and the card just stops, and it'll kind of ask you to see somebody on staff, and then once you get reactivated, which is basically somebody coming and seeing that you're okay, and then reactivating you to have 32 more ounces of beer in that case, it lets you keep going. So keeping an eye on people not over serving is a big deal for me too, because that's not what we're about. I'm not trying to get people trashed here. I want people to try a bunch of things and hang out. So keeping an eye on that's important. And obviously the liquor board finds that important too. Like you don't want people coming
Yes.
and drinking nonstop on your own. Yeah. I'll never forget the first bar I opened. Me and my partner, Sean, were we were reading an article that just come out, and the only part of the article said, cool, 2 bros in Wicker Park open a tap room, a kegger. What could go wrong?
Right.
Like it's, just imagining people coming in drinking nonstop and not.
Oh, we did lose him again. And Wendy, you're on mute again.
I do that so that you guys can't hear me gulping when I drink.
And A. Claxton pointed out that he's in a Faraday cage, but a Frigidaire cage.
It's definitely not cooler. It's definitely like some Wi-Fi situation, because I've talked in here before many times. So I apologize.
Well, we were just saying it's like a Faraday cage. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just today.
Yeah, could be just today. But yeah, no, it's definitely, yeah.
The other tech question I had, I'm pretty sure the guy is from Indiana who developed the bottoms-up pouring system, which is just another way to pour pints, and they can be metered, but not quite self-serve necessarily. They got the nice tagline. I don't know if it's an official tagline of "Don't finger the hole," because if you do that, then all the beer comes out. But is that an option?
Yeah, you can combine bottoms up and pour my beer, which is the tech we use. So yeah, you can do that. I don't think it's that great, because you have to use a plastic cup with bottoms up because of that little piece that goes up. As far as I've seen it, yeah, it has to be plastic. And for me, beer, plastic, it's got to be glass. Like in my mind, it kind of has to. So it just doesn't work. Yeah, but does it help with foam? Yeah, it definitely helps.
I'm thinking back. I think it's a hard plastic cup, but it is more permanent, meant to be washed and reused. Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I mean, I've tried it. It's cool. Yeah, the plastic for real beer people. Yeah, can't do it.
So now I'm curious about that, because we talked about the foaming issue, but part of the foam is actually releasing some of the carbonation so that it's easier to drink. So do we find that with like the bottoms up, it's a little more carbonated than it should be sometimes?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm just curious, because I was always taught that you should be pouring beer so that there's some foam, so that it will release some of that carbonation and it's a little easier on your stomach.
Yeah. Around here, it's at sporting events, and it's just easier to pour.
I think it takes longer.
Oh, we have 2 Romans now.
He's multiplying in front of us. That's technology.
This is quite the adventure we're on today. I apologize.
It's all right.
I think we're back.
We've been doing this online for a while, not in the studio. So the tech thing is always a question.
And at least once on every show, one of us forgets to unmute ourselves.
Yes.
regardless of how long we've been doing this. So
This is tradition.
Okay, good. So then I'm not too far off. Yeah.
no,
No. No. And one or the other of us will have Wi-Fi problems or whatever too. So
Classic.
yeah, it's really not.
Yeah,
not that.
I did hear your question though. It's a good question about bottoms up with it being more carbonated. It's a good question actually. Like I wonder if it is because the foam actually does help. You're right.
Yeah, that gets back to the art of the pour, where it's
right?
it can be important to pour the beer right.
For sure.
Okay, so Roman, we are coming up towards the end of the show, and we usually end our show asking something maybe a little off topic or a little farther afield than what we've been talking about so far. And my go-to has been to ask, which board game or card game have you played recently? Did you do well?
Wow.
Did you win?
Good question. Yeah. So we have a ton of board games here that people can grab and play in the bar. So in the last week, I played Battleship, Guess
Excellent
Who.
classic.
What else did I play? Uno for sure. I like playing Gin with cards.
Yeah.
Our family always plays Gin, so I play that a lot. But I'd say Battleship is kind of my favorite. I love Battleship. And I suck at it. For some reason, I completely suck. But I'm not going to dive into that like emotionally. But it's definitely like a fun game, and I love it.
Yeah.
But I'm not that good.
I don't want to tell you that I could kick your ass at that game then. Because I love it, and I was actually really good at it when I was growing up.
It is on.
Well, then, yeah, you will. It is on. We can go for it. But I'm actually betting on you, too. So I'm guessing you will win, too. I don't know how this works.
Only if you promise to go, you sunk my battleship.
Yes. That is actually a really
like
fun
in all the
part of
commercials.
It's
Yes.
important.
I do love that game. It's fun.
So my question, I'm a huge fan of traveling for beer. I like to drink local everywhere. So what is the one place that you would love to put a Tapster location that you haven't yet?
Ooh, that's really good. That's such a good question. I mean, I've always wanted to be in Vegas. I know that's not like a beer town, but it's just people can walk anywhere with their drinks, and New Orleans too, right? So both of those towns, but just places where I could literally have taps almost on the outside, where people could just come up and they're checked for IDs, and they could just grab sample stuff and then go too. I think that would be really fun. And I also love Amsterdam. I know I'm naming the biggest party towns, but I guess that says something. But Amsterdam is great, and they do have great beer there too. So it would be really cool to do that one.
Vegas's beer scene is pretty decent. It's just you have to get off the strip.
Yeah.
Everything is off the strip.
Yeah.
It's like tourist city. Yeah. But I do want to go up. I did it when I was driving around the country, but I wasn't really focused on beer at the time. But I do want to go up to Maine, like Portland in general, or just all over Maine, because there's so much good beer out there.
Such good beer.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be really pretty in the summer too. So.
What I know that I'm asking a second question, but I don't care.
Do it.
What is one of the favorite places that you visited on your year expedition? What's the one place you would tell people if you can't go anywhere else, go here?
Rio de Janeiro. Everybody should go in their lifetime. I mean, I was there during Carnival, so it was absolutely chaos. but it was also really fun. Like, there's great music, and there's actually an island off. I guess it's a little off Rio. It's called Florianopolis. That's also up there, if not better than Rio in my mind. So Florianopolis is probably, I'd put that as number one. But yeah, Brazilians are super nice people and actually love beer. Love it. So,
I had 3 exchange students from Brazil, and I still haven't been there. It's very disappointing.
Oh yeah, definitely. There it is on the list.
Some of my favorite people.
Yeah, they're very fun, and their accent is amazing.
Yes.
Oh.
They're very jolly people.
I was in Brazil for work last year, and I can't believe I can't remember the name of the city I was in, but it was the one where the NFL game was. I was at the NFL game even down there. But those coworkers all told me I needed to go to Rio. Like next time I come, I gotta go to Rio. So
You
they
really
were
do.
all sending me out of town to do stuff.
It's a really fun town.
Yeah,
Oh, you're in Sao Paulo.
I was in Sao Paulo. Thank you.
Yeah, which is massive. I think it's like 30 million people or something. It's a huge city.
Yeah, it's
One of
gigantic.
my exchange students was from there.
I think I did a show from there even.
Nice.
You did.
Yeah.
You did, because I remember being very jealous that I was not there.
It was good times.
I would be jealous too.
It's good to know that it was warranted.
That's right. So, Roman, again, thank you very much for being on the show today. It was wonderful to talk to you. Do you have anything coming up that you need to promote, want to promote?
Yeah, I would just say, in terms of Tapster, if you're looking to open a self-pour place or even a bar, please look us up to do any kind of franchising. That would be amazing. It's tapstertastingroom.com. And I'm excited about the future. It's been a lot of fun. And I really appreciate you inviting me on this and get to know you both. Thank you.
Yeah, we're happy to talk to you. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was awesome to have you here.
As to us, we have a winner for March Draftness.
We do.
Oh my God. Presidential?
Presidential.
We're
going to the west side.
So that will be in May. I don't know if the date was announced outside yet, but
I don't think so.
Okay, so that'll be coming up. We'll have an offline show from that. Let's see, we've got one more show before the Craft Brewers Conference. So that will be in 2 weeks.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. And so we will sign off as we sign off every show. Whatever you think of your beer, we think gets better on draft. Have a good
Cheers.
night.